Views and opinions expressed on Haunted Voices Radio are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views or position of HVRN Paranormal Talk. Any content provided by our host or guest are of their opinion and do not intend to harm any religions, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Haunted Voices Radio. Haunted Voices Radio brings you education, comedy, and information from top instructors, authors, and performers in the field of the paranormal. Join Todd each week to discover tricks of the trade that will help you to develop your craft and prosper as a paranormal investigator. It has never been easier to listen and interact. This is truly a program you won't find anywhere else. Now, here are your hosts of Haunted Voices Radio, Todd Bates.
And a good evening, one and all. My goodness, I never thought I would say that again. Welcome to Haunted Voices Radio. Of course, I'm your host, Todd Bates. Those of you that remember me, great to see you. Those of you that don't, nice to meet you. Join us. Chat room's open, hauntedvoices.net. Don't worry, hauntedvoices.com, hauntedvoicesradio.com. Those will be opened up momentarily. A lot of things going on here in the works. Going to bring you guys up to speed on a few things. The show is back, and I've got a huge thank you list. A lot of great support out there. My goodness. Now, of course, our guest this evening is going to be none other than Nicole Strickland. We're going to be talking about changes in the paranormal community. What's going on? I've been out of it for a little while. Need to find out what's up. Nicole's going to help us out there. We're going to be talking some ghosts and all that good stuff, too. Second hour, we've got her for a 2-hour special here tonight. We'll be talking some Queen Mary, some haunted Adobe, all kinds of cool stuff going on there in the San Diego, California area. Now, first things first, those of you that know me know that every once in a while, I take a little break from it all. And I go into hiding. Don't worry, don't take it personal. It has nothing to do with any of you, nothing you've done. That's just me. That's how I work. I don't do drama, don't deal with drama, don't tolerate drama. So, the best way to deal with that is to put a blanket over your head for a while. It's a good thing. I'm bigger, better, stronger. And what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. So here we are. Haunted Voices Radio is back. Now the new website, hauntedvoices.net. A lot to talk about with that. That's coming up here in a minute. First things first. A lot of thank yous. Now, longtime friend of mine, Stephen Wren, his brother Ryan. Huge kudos to them. For without them, we probably wouldn't have this show. They're the ones that kind of pushed me to go back. Now, the biggest supporter that I have, pushing me to go back, but in a good way, is my beautiful significant other, Sherry. And you talk about support. I've never had support like this. Never. So I'm very happy. I'm very content. Everything is great in my love world. Everything is just fine. Things happen. That's the past. Let's leave it there. Let's move forward. Let's stay in the now. Let's keep both feet right here on the ground, one step in front of another. Don't think ahead. Don't think behind. Stay right here, and we're all good. So, Sherry, if you are listening, thank you very much, honey. I love you. Now, Stephen, of course, donated some equipment, and without it, you wouldn't be hearing me. Also, Jason Mansfield, huge supporter. JD, Binary Entertainment, donated a mixing board that was desperately needed to power the station. It's just a lot of feelings, folks. I didn't realize how many people were still behind me after what happened. And for that, I thank you very much. People that have helped share and support, Megan, Tracy, of course, Nicole, she's our guest tonight. She's here. It's just really emotional, okay? Because I didn't think this was ever going to happen again. This is something that I truly, truly love to do. But there are times where it does consume me, okay? Just like anything would consume anybody. I'm learning to take things in moderation. And I hope you guys do the same, because life's too damn short. Okay. So a huge thank you to them. All the support over the years. I mean, Chip's in chat. I haven't seen Chip in years. It's great to see you, Chip. John, good to see you in there. Of course, Tim. So many people that are right back and picking up where we left off. That just blows my mind. Wendy's in there helping out as well. I was a guest on her show first thing. Thank you, Wendy. That got my... helped me warm up a little bit, blew some of the rust off. But here we are, folks, okay? And Haunted Voices Radio is going to grow. Once again, we're all going to water it, keep it fed. That's how it works. This entire operation is completely in your hands, okay? I can't hold it all in my hands. I can't handle that, okay? I need your help. Got to have your help. Got to have your support. You don't have to donate money, folks. It's not about money. It's not about making money. It's not about making millions. This show is about educating people, putting things out there that most people don't want to talk about or are too afraid to talk about. That's why we're here, to give people a place to be heard. And that's what this new station is about, HVRN Paranormal Talk. Okay? HVRN, you guys are familiar with that acronym, Haunted Voices Radio Network, been around. Paranormal Talk. That's what it's sticking to. No more wellness, no more this, no more that. Paranormal Talk. That's what I enjoy doing, and by God, that's what I'm going to do. Because we can do this together. Now, with the new website, you guys are hopefully navigating that okay, getting around. That was a labor of love for sure. It still is. It is an ongoing process. It's never going to be completed. A good website is never done. Now, there's a lot of cool things on there. And I tried my best to get everything repaired and fixed and up and running before tonight's program. There's a few bugs in there. Hey, you're going to have some bugs. That's okay. That's job security. Let me know what the bugs are, folks, so I can fix them. Okay? Let me know what they are. Now, the email addresses you can contact us. You can contact us right through the website, right there at hauntedvoices.net. There's a brand new audio player. Now, this audio player is really, really cool technology. And all of you should be able to hear it with no problems. Now, I do not have the auto player turned on because, well, if you're laying in bed right now and your significant other's next to you and you tune into the site and this thing kicks off with me jibber-jabbering, somebody's going to pee a little, okay? So that's shut off. But just hit play. It's that simple. The chat is right there next to it. Real easy, real easy. So if you have any problems with that, let us know in the chat room. You can also contact us right there through the website, all kinds of different ways. Now, what you're also going to see on there is something I have wanted for a very, very long time. A forum. And I know some of you millennials, forums, those went out in the 90s. No, they're still going. So, if you are a millennial, why don't you come over here to hauntedvoices.net, get into the forum, screw up and learn something. Now, with the forum, you just sign up. It's free of charge, okay? Register for free. There's forums for ghosts, UFOs, cryptozoology, you name it. Let's get some things going. Let's share some ideas in this forum. Beyond important. It's a database for the community to come together, get in there, put those ideas. There's no judgment. No one's going to make fun of you because you saw a 4-headed cat getting hunched by a 2-headed dog. It doesn't matter. Put it in the forum. If it's paranormal, we want to hear about it. Register for free. And I've fixed the bug with the CAPTCHA. Can't be too secure these days. Don't worry. Everything should be easy, so sign up for free for the forum. Now, when you sign on the website, if you do get some kind of error, send me an email, please. toddbates@hauntedvoices.net. And what I'll do is I will go ahead and activate you manually, which I don't mind doing at all, as long as you get in there. So put some posts in there. Introduce yourself. Who are you? Where you're from? Drop some links in there. It's not going to be policed. There's no forum Nazis. Put your link. Put your info in there. That's why it's there. Now, let's see here. We also have a pretty cool feed. It's a paranormal news feed. You guys get the latest paranormal news. Instead of going from app to app to app to app to app, I went and did the search for you and found one of the best, most credible links. And you can find that right there on the menu, Paranormal News. Read it. Comment on it. Copy and paste it. Put it in the forum. Doesn't matter. Use it. Use it. Now, with it comes the station. Yes, we are accepting programming. It's going to be of the paranormal nature. And if you are interested in a program, very inexpensive. I know there's some people that don't charge. Well, I tell you what, folks, it's a service. It really is. You get broadcasting training. You get custom intros, custom banners. You get social media exposure. You get events created for you. You get syndicated to Apple, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, they call them now. Things are changed. Google, iHeart, Spotify, all these different places, even stuff I've never heard of, like CastBox and Deezer. Never heard of it. Podcast Addict, all of them. They're all in there. And that's part of the service. You get syndicated to those places. Let's have some fun. Okay? Yeah. We make a little money on the side to keep the station going, to put maybe a little something in my pocket at the end of the day. That'd be nice. But I'm not here to make millions, people. Just here to spread the word. That's all. Plain and simple. So if you are interested in a program or know somebody that is, get a hold of me. We'll get things set up. It's very simple. Fill out a little sheet. And then, literally, I do the rest. Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. We've also opened up. This is cool. I had fun with this. I've always wanted one of these too. It's a swag shop. I know it's one of those high-priced places on there, but you know what? I took all the markup off, so I'm not in it for the money. So get in there. Get you something. I promise you that is market price. I don't have any markup on there. But it's got our logo on there. You have a lot of fun with that. Shirts, there's phone cases, you name it. All kinds of cool stuff in there. And we're taking advertising as well. Prices are super cheap with that. 20, 40, 60. That's all you got to remember. 20, 40, 60. For as little as $20, you can advertise a book, whatever. You get an ad, folks. It's not going to break the bank. Everybody can afford it. Let's have some fun with it. Let's get some people. Let's get some things sold for you, some books or what have you, websites, you name it. We can do that. Now that all that stuff is over with, we're going to have some fun tonight. We've got guest Nicole Strickland. And those of you that have listened to the shows in the past definitely know Nicole and the cool things that her and I talk about. She's an author, many books out there. We're going to catch up with her, learn about the latest and greatest going on in the world of Nicole Strickland. We have so much more show coming up for you. So what I want you to do is, during this break, register for the site, take some time, get in there in the forum, post a little bit about yourself. Just something quick, something simple. And right before this break, there is a new program that we're thinking about taking on the network. No, probably not. Probably not gonna. No. I don't know, though. You let me know. It's a cool little program. I mean, it's a little program, but it's fun. So stay tuned, folks. More Haunted Voices Radio on the way. Don't touch that dial.
In a world filled with ghostly activity, a family trying to survive the best they can. One man.
Don't you worry one bit, ma'am. We got your family covered here. Me and the little fellows are just going to take a look around the property a little bit.
12 little people.
Are you kidding me? I'm not going in there.
HVRN Paranormal Talk presents Little Hunters.
Come on, little fellas. You know I need your help with this.
You've done lost your mind.
Coming to HVRN Paranormal Talk, never. You're listening to HVRN Paranormal Talk. We hear what you fear.
Are you being spiritually tormented? Living with fear, stress, or an unexplained darkness? Then look no further than RevRon911.com. Reverend Ron is your modern-day exorcist, your spiritual solution. RevRon911 uses no shows, gimmicks, or bears no religion. Did I mention RevRon911 is also discreet? Reverend Ron saves you the hassle and comes to you. You just can't beat that, don't believe me? Visit RevRon911.com and read the proven testimonials from people just like you who won the battle thanks to Revron 911. That's Revron911.com. REVRON 911.com. Find your peace of mind today at Revron911.com. Brought to you by Green Karma LLC, GreenKarmaWeddings.com is a bilingual wedding service that specializes in outdoor wedding ceremonies. Some of the wedding packages include the Love Boat Wedding Package, which is conveniently located at the Chicago River, where you can eat at the best restaurants and get a spectacular view of the windy city skyline. No power, no DJ, no problem. We specialize in outdoor weddings and in unique settings. So when that special time arrives for you and your new fiancé, look no further than Green Karma Wedding Services. Come visit us, GreenKarmaWeddings.com.
In 2012, Keith Linder, after successfully obtaining a management position at a prestige healthcare company, decides the time is right for him and his girlfriend to move in together. That's putting things lightly. Weird things begin to happen within days of moving into the modern suburban home. The horrors they witnessed and desperately tried to fight off would end up putting them at the odds with members of the paranormal community and themselves. This gripping story, told from the house occupant's point of view, not only lists tales, but also includes pictures, video reenactments, commentary, and audio of the events being reported. Author Keith Linder does not ask you to believe him. He only asks you to listen. The Bothell Hell House by Keith Linder, now available on Amazon. The book, The Bothell Hell House. The author, Keith Linder. Order yours today on Amazon.
I hear what you feel. I hear what you feel. You know? I hear what you feel.
15 minutes past the hour. Welcome back. Haunted Voices Radio Live. HauntedVoices.net is the place to be. Those of you just joining us, welcome. Great to see you. Don't worry if it's a little late. Don't sweat it. We got you covered. Everything's being recorded. Not just by all this equipment, but the NSA decided to stop by. They heard that I was back on the air. We got a black van parked out front. I just saw it on their Wi-Fi. Surveillance van number 12. All right. That's good. That means we're making some waves out there. Now, what we're going to do is bring on an amazing guest, Nicole Strickland, here in a second. But first, this song that is playing beneath me and that opened here this segment, I Hear What You Fear by Jared Wesley. Those of you that have listened to the show for a long time know that song for sure. That was composed by a 16-year-old. It was written, produced, everything was done by Jared after I taught him how to use Adobe Audition. Of course, back then it was Cool Edit. That's what he did with it in about a week. You're going to be hearing a lot more of that song. I had a little push to push that song to kind of help you guys out there. So let me know what you think. I Hear What You Fear. If you want a copy of it, let me do something privately. It's a pretty cool track. Now, without further ado here, though, we have got to bring in one of my favorite guests, longtime friend. Now, Nicole and I have been through hell and back in California. We've been down to the bowels of a humongous ship. So many things that we've done. So many things we've discussed. I really, really like the way she thinks. There's just a lot going on in her world. She's an amazing author. And we're going to get all this information out there. We're going to get some updates on the paranormal community. All kinds of cool things are coming up here, folks. So you are right here. Grab some popcorn, get something to drink, and get you one of them little Johnny Johns, peanut bottle if you have to. Don't leave. Don't leave. You got to stay right here. Because right now, none other, Nicole Strickland. Nicole, how are you, hon?
I'm doing fantastic this evening. I'm so happy for you that you have HVR back up and running. Bravo, my friend.
Well, thank you very much.
I mean, and then to ask me to be your debut guest, little old me, my gosh, I'm so excited.
Wouldn't have it any other way. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is, because there's, so many things that I've missed. I don't even know how long I've been out of it. A couple years, easy. So many things I've missed, Nicole. The community is changing. I still see there's some television shows. We all know those are fantastic documentaries. Now, of course, I'm being sarcastic there, folks. But there's a lot of changes going on in the community. But the community itself has changed. What in the world's been going on?
I'm not so sure if I'm the best person to answer that, because I kind of stay in my own little bubble, and I try to keep a very low profile. One thing I think that I've noticed is, instead of it being one large community under the umbrella of the supernatural, if you will, I feel like these little groups are forming. Like there's the UFO, and maybe it's always been like this, but maybe just more advanced, in my opinion. You have the ghosts and hauntings group, you have the crypto group, and you have the ufology group, and it's like everyone's just kind of breaking apart, and instead of just, I guess, coming more together as a whole, that's what I'm seeing. And maybe that's a good, I think there's benefits to that, pros and cons, but that's one of the biggest things that I'm seeing. And but again, I try to keep a low. I don't, like you, I don't get involved in keeping up with all the drama and all this. I think that I've always said this on shows, and I'm going to continue to say it until I think there's a change. I think that there's one of the biggest problems still occurring, and it's probably getting worse, is just the ego that's involved, and not approaching field research with, objectivity and just of a pure dedication and passion. There has to be. I see way too many people just putting their egos involved and just easily getting offended by certain things, and it takes back from the actual research that's going on. So, I guess ego, yeah.
In this community?
That's not something, it's not something that's new. I've mentioned this before, but it's still a big thing, and I just think until we're going to advance the way we all want the field to advance, we need to start looking at ourselves. And, there should be a reason why we're all in this field. There should be devotion to it. There should be a passion. If we're in it for any other reason besides that, then I just, we have to question ourselves. I know for me, it's like I'm I do what I do in this field because I want to do it, and I have a passion for the paranormal, and I will continue to research even when I'm dead, beyond the grave, So, but I'm just one of those. That's why I said I'm not sure if I'm like the best person to answer that question, because I kind of stay in my own little bubble, but I can offer my, my opinions and kind of some things that I've observed. So,
well, that's one thing I'm going to agree with you with is the separation. It's almost as if, okay, you have your cryptozoologists, you have your ufologists, you have your paranormal researchers. They're not really called ologists. You have your demonologists. You have a lot of ologists out there, okay? But what they're doing, from what I've seen so far, is segregating themselves. It's almost as if they're forming their own religions. Their own sets of rules.
That's exactly what I'm seeing too. Absolutely.
People aren't even people, especially the people that research all of the above. A good paranormal which paranormal is such a loose term these days. It really is. It's a lot more normal than what the hell's going on out there now, that's for sure. But
totally.
It's, it being a loose term, researchers that are into all of the above. Jason Snyder's one. He's into everything, okay?
Right.
Ghosts, Bigfoot, you name it. Whatever. Chupacabra, all these different things. But it just seems like they're all separating. And when they separate, it's almost like they're taking themselves out of that paranormal community itself, Nicole. I mean,
that's, you said it better than I could. I mean, I wasn't, I had surgery a couple of weeks ago, so we all know what general anesthesia does to the brain. I'm still trying to normalize and, be myself, but it takes a few weeks. But yeah, you said it better than I said it. And that's basically what I'm seeing. And I know that, the way, for example, the way you're going to approach a paranormal research case study might be different in many ways for like a cryptozoological type of project versus like a ghosts and hauntings. Some of the things are going to be the same, some of the methodologies are going to be the same, others are going to be different. So you're going to have those similarities and differences, but I'm seeing just like what you said, the segregation is a key word, and just so I'm seeing people kind of break away from each other, and it's just like these little fragments. So instead of a puzzle being completed, there's all these pieces scattered all over the place. Mm-hmm. And so at this point, I don't know. I'm sure that there's pros and cons to that, absolutely. But that's one of the bigger things that I'm seeing. I think too, and this is more or less for me personally, I think that in order for the field to advance further, and I'm actually mainly talking ghosts, spirits, hauntings, more or less now.
Right.
I think that we need to start examining the spirit world a little bit more, and what encompasses the spirit world, because I think a lot of people, more or less amateur researchers, they may think that, okay, we have the spirit world here, and every unknown entity, whether it's an elemental or an earthbound or an alleged demon or some sort of, angelic figure, if you will, all of those fall under the same category, which is the spirit world, and I have to disagree with that. I think the spirit world, in my opinion, mainly contains those that, lived on the mortal realm, if you will, in the mortal world, that have died. Some may still be earthbound, some may have evolved to spirit. Of course, you may have spirit guides in there mixed in as well, and angelic guides, but I think, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I do think that we need to understand a little bit more about what encompasses the spirit world, and know that not every unknown entity that we're out there searching for, like Bigfoot, I wouldn't say belongs to the spirit world. I wouldn't say an elemental belongs to the spirit world. It's a different domain altogether. So I think we need to start kind of studying those different fields, different domains. Yes, we have the spirit world as one, when we have all these different universes and domains of different unknown energies, and I think we need to start examining that a little bit more to just for our own knowledge, and that would help in a way to advance the field a little bit more as we have more of an understanding of what these classifications are. So that's just something more more of my personal opinion as to what I see changing a little bit. So.
No, that's good. That's very good, Nicole. Well said. Well said. And I agree. You know, those things don't necessarily belong to the elementals maybe now. I did hit a family of gnomes on the way home from the Walmart the other night.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They have crossed over, and they were real ones too, folks. They ran and they tried. It was like a deer in headlights. But the thing is, you know, the way they're separating themselves, they're taking their evidence with them, they're taking their findings, their theories, everything with them. And yes, we need to concentrate on the spirit world. It's almost as if researchers, from what I've seen and read, oh my goodness, I've done a lot of reading. What I've seen and read is they're getting bored with ghosts and spirits. They're not finding any answers. They're not finding anything tangible that they can hold on to. They can't put it in a jar like the amazing Randy says, you know. So they're moving on, it seems, to different things, maybe to broaden their horizons a little bit, maybe re-stimulate the whole research, the whole investigating. I hate using hunting. We don't shoot them, folks.
Thank you. Exactly.
But with this field, and I've said this many times, Nicole, I know you have as well, and I know a lot of you listening, you have to do the legwork, okay? You're not going to sit there watching a DVR system and see Casper, okay? It's not going to happen. It's going to happen when you least expect it, when you have nothing to capture it or anything. You have nothing but what you witnessed yourself. Maybe collective, maybe, if you're lucky, a couple other people. But 9 times out of 10, that's going to be a gift for you and you alone. Take it as you will.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, Nicole, is I think they're getting bored. You know, you're seeing the same things on television. Oh, my.
Right, exactly.
Oh.
And it's almost like I kind of equate it to like the Food Network. I love the Food Network, don't get me wrong. But a lot of the shows, it's like they might have 5 similar themed shows, just, you know, different night, different person, but the theme is the same. That's kind of what I'm seeing in regards to a lot of these television shows. And I think that, I think you're right. I think a lot of people are getting bored with ghosts and hauntings. And I think when it comes to data, whether it's subjective data, like what, you know, or data that really isn't tangible, so to speak, so more like psychic impressions or personal encounters during an investigation, those, in my opinion, are equally as important, and those tell the overall story of what's going on. But I think that we need to, I wish that the ghosts and hauntings and spirits community, if you will, I guess I should say supernatural field at large, could start examining, because you can't just go based on one little piece of data and that's just like a piece of the puzzle. That's not, you know, connected with all the other pieces. So I think we need to start examining at these locations, okay, over, let's say, the past 10 years or over the 20 years, what sorts of data have been collected, what types, and see if there's any similarities, and you can start to generate patterns. I think once we do that, we're going to find that people are less bored. I don't see that being done.
Right.
And so I think that really is important, because I keep coming back to this analogy of having a puzzle, like just a huge puzzle, let's say, made of 500 pieces. And you might have 5 pieces connected, but as long as all these other pieces are scattered around, no one individual piece can really tell a story. But when you start connecting those and putting those together, you kind of start to get an idea of what may be going on at a location. And then you put those pieces together, and then you compare that with, let's say, the history of that location, or maybe there's a geological influence or something like that. That's what I think needs to be done more. And it's a good way for the community to come together as well.
Oh, and you're right. You hit that head on. Perfect. Nailed it. Because it is like a puzzle. And, I mean, I've done big puzzles before. Let's face it. I get maybe 10 or 15 connected. That thing's going to sit there for a few months, few years, whatever, until
right? Yes.
I have some extra energy to go complete the puzzle. Now, with this research, and I'm not saying, people are out there lazy. There are some lazy people, okay? Don't get me wrong. There's people that don't want to do the legwork, which I actually enjoy that because that keeps you busy during the investigation.
Absolutely.
But there's so much being lost. There's so much being overlooked because people are depending too much on technology when it comes to research.
Absolutely.
You have an app that makes a ghost a stickman guy and shows him waving and kicking his legs and stuff. I'm not saying that that's not a ghost man guy. But what I'm saying is, why are you sitting there, oh, look, a ghost man guy. Okay? Why don't you do some legwork? Why don't you do a little bit of science around you to see why you're seeing that little ghost guy?
Absolutely.
Quit depending so much. I mean, Nicole, there are thousands of these little apps, and some of them have so much interference, it's ungodly.
Oh, it's, what I know. And this is, when I give presentations or if I'm teaching like a course or something like that, this is one of the I guess, messages I want to impart to people. It's exactly what you said. I mean, if I was a multimillionaire, which of course I'm not, but if I ever was, I would still not have or go out and buy every single, gadget known to mankind. I mean, a lot of these are not even, beta tested or scientifically tested. Anyone can go out and make a gadget. I mean, I stick to the basics. I stick to the classic types of, environmental monitoring out there and all that. But when you have so much equipment like that, not only can it, interfere with other pieces there, but your whole night or day, if you will, is spent, analyzing, looking at the equipment, seeing if a red light goes off and blah, 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 blah. And before you know it, you've missed out. I've always felt our bodies are the best sorts of, there's no such thing as a ghost detector, but you know what I mean? If there is, our bodies are the best at that.
Absolutely.
And when you pay attention to just all these gadgets like that, you're losing out. And I think in more ways than one, a lot of these personal encounters and intuitive impressions that people have, those are ignored. And it's sad because they're not considered tangible. And I get that from a scientific data, perspective, but those are really, really important to the whole story.
Mm-hmm. They are.
So
they are.
I mean, that's
and we've got some comments here from chat and a question for you. Some of the comments regarding television, nothing ever new on the TV shows. It's all recycled information. Yeah, it's all regurgitated. Right. And they may be getting bored, but they are beginning to bore the audiences. So they expand the fields and definitions. Okay, that's a good point. Good point to come across. Absolutely. And we got a question here, Nicole. You're going to love this. Wendy is asking, where do they get their education and degrees to become an ologist?
Well, that's just it right then and there. I mean, you have to laugh. I mean, I think I used after a wildfire, a fire comes through and it burns all the grass, there's nothing there, and then you get all these rains that come in, and then the little green grass starts growing. And it's like I feel that demonologists are just popping up like that grass everywhere, all these parapsychologists and all these demonologists. And it's like, well, I mean, I can't just, because I'm interested in the field, just call myself a cardiac surgeon. I have to go through medical school. I have to go through training to do that, right? It's the same thing.
But it's so much more fun to call yourself a cardiac surgeon.
What's that?
I said it's so much more fun to call yourself a cardiac surgeon.
Yeah, I mean, just adding that ologist at the end. I mean, of course, I would love to be a parapsychologist one day, but I'm not going to sit there and call myself one until I've, gone through some schooling. I mean, you don't necessarily need a degree to investigate the paranormal, but, people going around calling themselves parapsychologists without having, the education or experience behind them, That's pretty bold. That's pretty bold, in my opinion.
It's a lot more than just psychology. Okay, one of the best that I know, of course, Lloyd Auerbach, one of the best out there, and we'll get him on again here too. But He's great. He's a great example, and he keeps things down to the level too, Nicole.
Right. Yeah.
You know, there's so much getting into this field, and I think people don't understand that when they first approach it. You know, they see 6 episodes of a certain television show. Okay, I'm a professional. I've got my phone to record. I've got the Stickman Ghost app, and I've got the EMF Chaser Ghost Getter Outer machine. So, I'm good. Now, the things they forgot, a notebook, common sense, and a flashlight, and perhaps, you know, maybe a camera.
Right.
The
Thank
little
you.
things. They're bypassing the essentials.
But do you see how that all falls into the whole egotistical circus about it all?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're using a very fancy, you know, XLS system, or we're using the most up-to-date Connect system, I think that's what it's called. We're using the most up-to-date, and it becomes like a little competition in a game. And with that mentality, you're not going to go too far.
No.
With this. So, and that's the problem that I'm seeing, and I have seen this, but it just keeps getting worse. And I don't know what to do about it. You know, I mean, I'm only one person. You know, I have my opinions, but it needs to change. It really does.
You know, Nicole, you're not alone. I'm right there with you. Okay?
Right.
I'm behind you 100%. Trust me. And I know a lot of people listening are. And some people, you know, if it does offend you, maybe it's something you need to sit back and look at if you are offended by it. You know,
right.
Check yourself on that.
Because
none of us have the answers. You know, you go out and spend $4,000 or $5,000 on a video system, okay, that's infrared and can see 2 fleas having sex in the corner. Okay, great. But you know what? You're going to get your money back because that's not going to help you find it either. Nothing is going to put this in a jar for you. You're not going to get the world's best evidence. You're not going to find the next YouTube viral video this way. It's not going to happen because it's not supposed to happen. The world's not supposed to know this stuff, Nicole. We're not supposed to know these kinds of things. We're supposed to stumble onto them, in my opinion.
No, I know. I mean, and it's like you just said something that I've kind of mentioned, you know, throughout the years. It's like, what are we mortals supposed to know? What are we permitted to know about the paranormal? We may not be able, maybe it's only a certain percentage of stuff that we're allowed to know. You know, has anyone ever thought about that? That maybe a lot of this is supposed to remain elusive as long as we're living in the mortal realm? I don't know, maybe not. But, you know, just with a lot of, you know, evidence too, you mentioned this earlier, with data, it's not so much what is captured, but going beneath that and trying to analyze, okay, why was this specific piece of data captured in the way it was? Mm-hmm. Why did so-and-so have that personal encounter? So going deeper and trying to explore the nexus, you know, beyond just, oh, I got a great Class A EVP. Okay, well, what does that tell me? You know, not much, right? And I think another thing, too, and I don't know why, it's kind of like doesn't really go along with this train of thought, but I just remembered it. I think for me, I'm beyond just going on a case study and investigating and trying to get, you know, a bunch of data or trying to have encounters. I'm kind of beyond that. That is important, yes, to the overall case study of that location, but I want to build a connection with those that could be trying to reach out or those that we're communicating with. I want to build that connection and that rapport. Maybe they need help. Maybe they're reaching out to offer a suggestion to us. Maybe they're trying to help us. Maybe they need help. And so that leads me to something that I'm actually writing a book about this. And I really do feel that there's this parallel, I guess, symbiotic relationship, if you will, between the spirit world and the living. Mm-hmm. And they're constantly engaging with one another. So I kind of want to explore, why is that? Why is that the case? You know, I don't know. I don't have the answers. But
here's a fun little theory, because I've been thinking about that, Nicole, a lot.
Yeah.
For years, and I've seen a lot of stuff over that. I mean, a lot of really weird, scary stuff. So much I had to go talk to a Catholic priest about it. And he said, that's just sin, my child. That is perfectly normal. It is just sin. You're curious. Now, here's the thing. It kind of gave me a swift kick in the head. If we, let's just say, okay, let's say you and I went on an investigation, and not only did we see an apparition, but they started talking. And they allowed them, they were on film. We recorded everything, word for word. There's life after death. Everything's great here. The food's wonderful. We've got Wi-Fi. You know, whatever. It's the next best thing. It's great. There's no pain. There's no hate. There's no anger, sadness. No one cries. Everybody's happy. And we discover that. And we release that to this fragile world. You know what's going to happen? Mass suicides.
Yeah.
People are going to want to die. They're going to want to die now.
That's poignant. Yeah, very much so.
So if we did figure that out, which I don't think we ever will, I hope not, because it's great job security. But if we ever do, I'm afraid for what's going to happen to all these people that are fragile and can't take life and can't handle life on life's terms and things. There's times where we've all been that dark, Nicole. And if that did happen...
I've been there many times.
Yeah.
And that could be all of why a lot of this is supposed to remain elusive for the mortal realm, because us living in the mortal realm, you know, there's a lot for every single one of us to learn. We're constantly learning. And when you think about it, I mean, we're all kind of one and the same, you know. I mean, we have our differences and all that, but the way our emotions, you know, and the way we think about things is very similar. So it's, and in a way, we're all related. Mm-hmm. And maybe we're not able to, or we're not advanced enough to handle situations like that. So it could be why a lot of this, you know, purposely is kind of kept secret, if you will, from us.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Very good point.
Yeah, it's a scary place to be. And you guys hang tight. We're going to skip off here to a quick break. We come back more with Nicole. Let us know in chat what you think. What do you think? What do you think if you discover life after death? If it was all over, what would we do? Let us know in chat. HauntedVoices.net. More Haunted Voices Radio. Nicole Strickland coming up next. Stay tuned.
You're listening to HVRN Paranormal Talk. We hear what you fear.
Brought to you by Green Karma LLC, GreenKarmaWeddings.com is a bilingual wedding service that specializes in outdoor wedding ceremonies. Some of the wedding packages include the Love Boat Wedding Package, which is conveniently located at the Chicago River, where you can eat at the best restaurants and get a spectacular view of the windy city skyline. No power, no DJ, no problem. We specialize in outdoor weddings and in unique settings. So when that special time arrives for you and your new fiancé, look no further than Green Karma Wedding Services. Come visit us, greenkarmaweddings.com.
Let's face it. There's a lot of theories and ideas in the paranormal community. Your opinion matters to HVRN Paranormal Talk, and that's why we created our Paranormal Forum. Posting is easy with our free registration, so head on over to hauntedvoices.net, click the forum link, and get started today. HVRN Paranormal Forum, where your opinion matters. Register today at hauntedvoices.net. Are you being spiritually tormented?
Living with fear, stress, or an unexplained darkness? Then look no further than Revron911.com. Reverend Ron is your modern-day exorcist, your spiritual solution. Revron 911 uses no shows, gimmicks, or bears no religion. Did I mention Revron 911 is also discreet? Reverend Ron saves you the hassle and comes to you. You just can't beat that, don't believe me? Visit Revron911.com and read the proven testimonials from people just like you who won the battle thanks to Revron 911. That's Revron911.com. Revron 911.com. Find your peace of mind today at Revron911.com. Psst. You. Yeah, you. Listening alone on your phone or computer. Come on over to hauntedvoices.net and join the conversation in our new live chat room. It is easier than ever to chat with like-minded people, so what are you waiting for? hauntedvoices.net. Okay, as you were.
Alright, Daddy. They're cold and please me. First they played with Dad, then Mommy came, and I played with Mommy. We played, Daddy. We had an awful good time. Now I want to play with you.
47 minutes past the hour. Todd Bates here, Haunted Voices Radio Live. Those of you just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you missed the first part of the show, of course, we've got you covered. Everything's being recorded, archived as we call it. We do not call a live recording a podcast. It is called an archive. So that's going to be archived. That's going to be distributed to all of the awesome platforms that are out there in the world. And you can find all those right there at hauntedvoices.net. Just look at all the little platforms there. Click on subscribe there at the top, and you'll see where you can listen to the show. Subscribe there, the Apple Podcast thing, the Google this, and all the fun stuff. It's all going to be right there for you. And while you're there, join us in chat. The chat room is open. New chat room. Just sign up there. It's free. You can come in there as a guest as you want. Doesn't matter. Post your opinions. We're talking with Nicole Strickland, of course, and we've discussed the community. A lot going on with the paranormal community. I've been out of it here for a little while. Kind of went on a hiatus, but it's an eye-opener. Coming back, some things are the same. Some things have drastically changed. Some things need to change immediately. It's getting pretty scary. You know, back in the day, Nicole, welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's see. It was around 2003. I was doing a show with Jimmy Lowry, co-hosting with him. Guess how many other shows there were with us?
Right. Yep. I see where
2.
you're going with. Yeah. Right. Now it's 200. No, just kidding.
So,
Yeah.
So I understand. I understand technology's out there. Things get easier. Things get less expensive than what they used to be. And I think it's great that everybody has this soapbox they can stand on, Nicole. They can get out there and just say their opinions and whatever. And if people get offended, well, I'll just unfriend you on Facebook. Okay? But
Yes.
things are getting a little out of hand. Don't you think we all need to get back together again a little bit, kind of regroup?
I do.
I don't know. What's some advice? You know, if you had some advice for some new researchers coming into the field, what are a few things you would tell them?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is to stay true to who you are. You know, stay true to the type of person you are, the type of research you do, and if you have certain opinions that, and whether your opinions are just intuitively based or based on, experience you had on a case study, whatever it is, stay true to yourself, stay true to your beliefs, and know that, you know what, don't stay stuck on a certain belief. That may change as your research changes or as you uncover new information, so to speak. And, I think that if someone wants to, because like I said earlier, you don't need, a college degree per se. You don't need a certificate to investigate the paranormal. I think people from all different walks of life can add something to paranormal research. So that's something I would want someone to know. Let's say someone wants to get in the field and they're like, but I went to culinary school. How am I going to be a good researcher? Well, I mean, your experiences, your life's experiences can bring something to the table, right? So you don't need to be, hold a PhD in paranormal research. There's really no such thing as that. And also, I would say if you're new, I wouldn't necessarily, I guess, overly commit to any one researcher's methodology or ways of doing things. I would expose yourself to different types of methodologies and different types of ways to approach research. Mm-hmm. So those are just some of the things I think off the top of my head. What are some of your suggestions?
Very, very, very similar.
Yeah.
Back to basics would be my biggest one.
Right.
Take everything you see with a grain of salt. Even though you see an apparition, take it with a grain of salt, because are you seeing that, or is your mind making you see that?
That's very true, right?
Mm-hmm. Don't be naive. Be a little cautious. Don't go in being a complete 100% believer, and I don't like that word either, believer.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either. Healthy skepticism. I like to say healthy skepticism.
Yeah, I can believe that cats fly, but they don't. So that's the thing is don't be so naive in the field, and don't those programs are for entertainment. Some of these radio shows are as well. I mean, I try to keep people entertained, Nicole. I mean, there's a difference. You got to keep people focused. Talk radio can be extremely boring, almost as boring as an investigation. So you've got to throw in some wrenches every once in a while.
Yeah, you need to have that balance. But I think if you're purely entertained, it's just for pure entertainment, that's one thing. But if you want to be informative and offer some education while at the same time in an entertaining way, that's completely different. Mm-hmm. Someone in chat said, clear mind, pencil, and paper, best tools of the trade. Absolutely.
Hands down. Absolutely.
A notepad and a pencil or a pen, whatever, or a separate audio recorder that you can go dictate into, make sure your other teammates don't necessarily hear you for the bias and power of suggestion. But, oh my God, and just being objective, going in there just with an open mind, right? Because if you go in there, the mind is so powerful. I mean, I wish I understood the complexity of our brains. No, I'm not even close to understanding that. But, if you go in wanting something, you're, in a way, psychokinetically projecting that onto that location, and then you're going to start seeing or hearing what you want. And so we have to be careful of that.
It's an amazing point. I think the scientific term for that is pareidolia, matrixing.
Mm-hmm.
And with a lot of electronic voice phenomena work, I get that a lot. Okay, if you're sitting there listening to hiss for a couple hours, listening to some raw footage, you're going to start to hear things. You're going to start to hear things so well, you're going to go to your shrink. Next thing you know, you're not hearing voices anymore because your mind is clouded with psychotropic drugs that they give you. So, it's a vicious cycle, folks.
It's a very vicious cycle. I once worked with an investigator, great investigator, don't get me wrong, but he would wear his recorder kind of in a lanyard-style fashion over his neck, and so it would kind of rub against his jacket as he moved.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just little things like that you have to be cognizant of.
Common sense. We all have it. Well, some of us did purchase it. It is for sale. They do sell it at some fine department stores close to you. Look in the common sense aisle. And on that note, we're going to skip off here for the top of the hour break, your latest news, all that fun stuff. More with Nicole Strickland when we come back. We're going to be talking about some haunted locations, answering your questions in chat, hauntedvoices.net. Just log in there. It's free of charge, folks. You'll have a lot of fun in there. Some great people in there. Go say hello to them. JD's entertaining them with some goofy stuff in there. That's what JD does. He's my nemesis. But more Haunted Voices Radio and guest Nicole Strickland. We come back. Top of the hour. Here's your latest news, folks. Stay tuned.
This is a Fox News alert. Moments away. I'm Lisa Lacera. President Trump about to address a joint session of Congress in his third State of the Union address, where he's expected to talk about what he's calling the Great American Comeback. Fox's Jill Nato, live in Washington.
We may see some emotional moments in tonight's speech as President Trump's expected to announce he's giving Rush Limbaugh the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The broadcaster is expected to attend the speech. Limbaugh announced yesterday he's got lung cancer. As for the president, he's also expected to tout a thriving economy. Chief of Staff to Vice President Pence, Mark Short.
You see what's happening with markets today and reinvestment coming back into the United States.
But in the Democratic response from Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, she's expected to be talking about struggles of working class people who can't pay all the bills at the end of the month. Lisa?
Jill, the Senate expected to vote tomorrow on the articles of impeachment against President Trump. Maine Republican Senator Susan Collins has indicated she will vote to acquit.
The founders warned against excessive partisanship, fearing that it would lead to instability, injustice, and confusion, ultimately posing a mortal threat to our free government.
Alaska Republican Lisa Murkowski, who had also been seen as a question mark, indicated yesterday she will also vote to acquit. The results of the Iowa caucuses still not final.
We know who appears to be winning, and that is South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg with 62% of the precincts counted. He is followed closely by Senator Bernie Sanders, and they are followed by Senators Warren and Klobuchar.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Des Moines. Democratic National Committee Chair Tom Perez has issued a statement reading in part what happened last night should never happen again. We have staff working around the clock to assist the Iowa Democratic Party. America is listening to Fox News.
If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. Most companies don't have a clear picture of their business, and that's why many struggle to grow. Can you afford that new hire, invest in new software, or launch a new campaign? How is revenue pacing against your expenses? NetSuite by Oracle is here to solve that problem. As a business owner, are you confident that you've got the right numbers? Are you really confident you're making the right business decisions? Serious entrepreneurs and finance teams run on NetSuite, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite offers a full picture of your business, everything in one place. Finance, inventory, HR, customers, and more. No more guessing. No more worrying. Run your business with confidence. Grow successfully on NetSuite like Ring, Hint, Boll & Branch, and over 19,000 other businesses. NetSuite. Business grows here. Schedule your free product tour right now and receive their free guide, 7 Key Strategies to Grow Your Profits at netsuite.com/Fox. Set up your free product tour and get your free guide today at netsuite.com/Fox.
Officials in China now say 490 people have died from coronavirus, and the numbers are expected to increase.
This morning, Chinese authorities confirmed the death of a coronavirus patient in Hong Kong, the second death outside the Chinese mainland. The first involved a Chinese traveler to the Philippines. The World Health Organization Secretary General admonished nations to be more forthcoming with information about the virus's spread outside of China.
Fox's Jonathan Seri in Atlanta, a high school principal in Washington State, apologizing for a post about the death of Kobe Bryant. Commerce High School principal Liza Sakura wrote, "Not gonna lie, seems to me that karma caught up with a rapist today," on a personal Facebook page. Sakura later deleted the post, later writing that she wanted to apologize for suggesting that a person's death is deserved, and that she wrote it was inappropriate and tasteless. More closures for a major retailer.
Macy's will be closing over 100 stores. The department store operator is planning on shuttering 125 of its least productive stores over the next 3 years, as the struggling retailer tries to reinvent itself as more shoppers make purchases online and make fewer trips to the mall. Macy's is also cutting roughly 2,000 corporate jobs, or 10% of corporate and support staff, and closing several offices, including one of its corporate headquarters in Cincinnati. The store closures represent about 1/5 of Macy's current locations.
That's Fox's Hillary Barsky. A new study finds that the most popular films are increasingly diverse, even if Hollywood's award season doesn't show it. That's according to new research released by the University of Southern California's Annenberg Inclusion Initiative. More of 2019's top movies featured minority or female lead characters than ever recorded before, analyzing the top 100 films at the North American box office. I'm Lee Silasera, and this is Fox News.
If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. Can you afford to expand, make that new hire, or launch a new ad campaign? How is revenue pacing against last year? Most companies don't have a clear picture of their finances, so they make key business decisions without critical information, based on their gut or, worse, their fear. And that's why many businesses fail. Are you confident that you've got the right numbers at your fingertips? Serious entrepreneurs and finance teams run on NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite offers a full picture of all your finances, all in one place, in real time, right from your phone or your desktop. No more guessing. No more worry that what you don't know could kill your company. That's why NetSuite customers grow 3 times faster than the S&P 500. And you can too. Schedule your free demo right now and receive their free guide, 7 key strategies to grow your profits at netsuite.com/Fox. Set up your free demo and get your free guide today at netsuite.com/Fox. netsuite.com/Fox.
You're listening to HVRN Paranormal Talk. We hear what you fear. In 2012, Keith Linder, after successfully obtaining a management position at a prestige healthcare company, decides the time is right for him and his girlfriend to move in together. That's putting things lightly. Weird things begin to happen within days of moving into the modern suburban home. The horrors they witnessed and desperately tried to fight off would end up putting them at the odds with members of the paranormal community and themselves. This gripping story, told from the house occupant's point of view, not only lists tales, but also includes pictures, video reenactments, commentary, and audio of the events being reported. Author Keith Linder does not ask you to believe him. He only asks you to listen. The Bothell Hell House by Keith Linder, now available on Amazon. The book, The Bothell Hell House. The author, Keith Linder. Order yours today on Amazon.
Are you being spiritually tormented, living with fear, stress, or an unexplained darkness? Then look no further than RevRon911.com. Reverend Ron is your modern-day exorcist, your spiritual solution. RevRon 911 uses no shows, gimmicks, or bears no religion. Did I mention RevRon 911 is also discreet? Reverend Ron saves you the hassle and comes to you. You just can't beat that, don't believe me? Visit RevRon911.com and read the proven testimonials from people just like you who won the battle thanks to RevRon 911. That's RevRon911.com. RevRon 911.com. Find your peace of mind today at RevRon911.com.
Top of the hour. You are listening live on Haunted Voices Radio. Todd Bates here, your host. Yes, I'm back. Those of you just joining us, welcome. And we've got everything archived. Now, we're going to have that up. It's going to be about 30 minutes after the live broadcast. So if you're hearing this on the archive, yeah, you're probably pretty confused, aren't you? Don't worry. We're here every Tuesday night, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific Time, hauntedvoices.net, where you want to be right now. Jump into the chat room. It's a great place to be. Good people in there. A ton of great people in there, folks. Drop in, say hi, make a new friend. While you're there, on the website, check out the forum. I've always wanted a forum. There it is. Get in there. Register. It's free. Sign up. There's little bugs here and there. Don't worry. We'll squash them. But get on that forum, introduce yourself, meet some new people, share some ideas, put your theories in there, opinions, post some pictures, whatever you want to do, that forum is there for you. So get over there, check it out. Sign up for free, hauntedvoices.net. And of course, we are speaking with none other than Nicole Strickland. She's with us. First hour, we talked about the paranormal community, some of the changes, some of the things that her and I would like to see. I know you would like to see as well. And we're more than welcome to hear your feedback on that as well. Contact at hauntedvoices.net. Shoot us an email. Contact us through the website there as well. Now, this hour, the second hour, we're going to be discussing some ghostly things going on in Nicole's neck of the woods. Also, her books, we're going to get those out there. She's an amazing author. She is a foremost authority on the Queen Mary, believe it or not. So, of course, we're going to be talking about that. We can't talk to Nicole without talking about the Queen. We just can't do it. It doesn't work out. Welcome back, Nicole.
Thank you for having me. Can't believe an hour has already gone bye-bye.
Oh, my goodness.
Right?
Yeah. Time is definitely flying by. It's getting the best of us. Don't worry. We got a couple more breaks here and stuff, folks. Got to pay the bills with the ads. That's how it works. Now, Nicole, the Queen Mary.
Oh, yes.
That is where, of course, I knew you before that, but that's where we met for the first
That's
time.
Right.
Was the Queen Mary. And gorgeous ship she is. So many nooks and crannies, so much activity, so much history in that ship. Now, for the listeners out there, when did you first walk aboard the Queen Mary, and what drew you to her?
Oh, my goodness. Well, before I answer that, I've always felt that the Queen Mary has this almost uncanny way, if you will, of uniting people that are supposed to meet. Of course, she's, that's so, I find that interesting that you and I first met on the ship. She's been doing that since her inception. So, first time I went on board was 2005, if I remember. And it was back in the year 2000 when it was spring break because I was still in college. And we decided, one of my friends and I decided to, and I've shared this story on other shows, but one of my friends and I decided to go on a 3-day carnival cruise to Mexico, Catalina, spend a day at sea. And so, as you know, there's a carnival cruise port right there adjacent to the Queen Mary. And so that's the very first time that I saw the Queen Mary from the back seat of a car as I drove along Queens Highway. And I remember saying to myself, oh my goodness, I will be back there one day. So that came just a few years later in 2005, and it's just one of those things that no matter what words I use to describe it, it's still, I can't fully describe what I'm feeling. But the second I parked my car there and I, took the elevator up and walked up the gangway to A deck where the hotel lobby is, the first second I stepped foot on the actual ship, that was it. It was like instant love, an instant connection. I felt like I've been there before, even though I hadn't. It was just so surreal, and it's unlike anything that's ever happened to me before. And so I belong to a network of close friends and Queen Mary and ocean liner enthusiasts called the Clan Mary. And so we gather together, if you will, on the Queen Mary throughout the year. And one of my friends, Tom Varney, he was just on board this past weekend, and he builds models of the RMS Queen Elizabeth and the Queen Mary, very talented at that. And so he did a little presentation about his model building. I couldn't attend, of course, because I'm still post-surgical, can't drive long distances, but he's the one that said, and this has stuck with me, he says, the Queen Mary chooses you. And I think the ship reaches out to everyone. She gives everyone a fair chance, don't get me wrong. But she can tell the people that know her and can feel her soul and can feel her spirit. And it's those people that she chooses. And once she chooses you, you're in her arms forever. And that's kind of how I can relate. And it's just, it's I never would have imagined in all these years that I would have, written 3 books about the Queen Mary and have spent so many hours on board as I have. It is what it is. And, I just try not to analyze it too much because it's a very beautiful thing. But there is something about that ship. There is something very beautiful about the Queen Mary, unlike any other location I've been to.
What do you think sparked a lot of the activity in there? There's that huge debate where you have a ghost and you have a spirit. Ghosts
right.
are kind of trapped here. Spirits can come and go as they please. Do you think there's more ghosts on the Queen Mary or more of the spirit type?
I think it's a combination of both. I think it's a nice balance of residual type of activity, right? So really no intelligence involved, kind of like a psychic imprint, if you will, on the environment. I think there's a good balance between that and intelligent ghost/spirit activity. I would say 60% intelligent, 40% residual, just based on my experiences. I could be wrong, just a guess. But I do think some of the energies on board are earthbound for whatever reason. Everyone's different. And I do think that there are some on board that are more evolved in the spirit realm. One of which, and I think many people will disagree with me, and that's fine. This is just my own opinion on this based on my interactions with her. And what I've observed is one of the most popular energies on board is a little girl by the name of Jackie. And we don't know where she comes from. We don't know her origins. The late Peter James, who was the resident psychic on board, felt that she died in the second-class pool, which is no longer on board. It was stripped in the Long Beach conversion. That may be. I don't know. But for whatever reason, I do feel that Jackie's more of an evolved spirit, if you will. I'm not even sure if she died as a child. She may have died as an adult and chooses to come back as a child, but it seems as though that a lot of the other energies on board know Jackie, look up to her, know who she is. It's very interesting. And I've often thought, is the spirit of the Queen Mary ship herself personified in Jackie? So is Jackie really the spirit of the Queen Mary personified in a little girl? I don't know. These are all kinds of thoughts that have kind of run throughout my brain, but I think that Jackie, I would say, is one of the ones on board that is more highly evolved. And of course, like I said, I do think that there are earthbounds of former crew, passengers. There was an 18-year-old crewman, not going to say his full name, just out of respect for the family. His initials are JP. He sadly passed away in the after engine room on July 10th, 1966, if you will, from crushing wounds. Okay, so he was from Yorkshire, just 18 years old. I've seen him. I've seen his full-bodied apparition, and I've seen him a few times. One of the most poignant times was in boiler room number 4. I believe it was 4. I was on the Disney stage. There was an old stage there back when Disney managed the ship. They had cast performers there, and there was a little green room back in there that's no longer, but it's called the Disney stage, and I was standing on there, and I saw JP walk toward me, smile, and then kind of back up and then fade. And there is a historical photo of him. It's a ship identification photograph, kind of like, what our photographs are on driver's licenses.
Right.
And it was as though that picture came to life. I do think he's earthbound. I don't think he's evolved a spirit yet, but I think for him, he chooses that. He seems to be very content. So I think I'm kind of running on a tangent here, but I think it's a combination of both. And I do think that the ship herself, not the people who run the ship, not her management, not her leaseholders, the ship itself, herself, is alive and has her own spirit. And I think that kind of governs some of the spiritual energies on board. She's almost their protector, if you will. And I think that's what makes her so special. Now, again, this is out there. I know that, but this is just some of my own opinions.
No, and trust me, you have done a lot of research on the ship. You have done so many things. You've written so many books, about it. Yes, what you say is gold. Coming out. That's why I talked to you about the Queen Mary, because, well, you know the ship like the back of your hand. You've been there hundreds and hundreds of times. Little Jackie, now she's the one that drowned in that first-class swimming pool, right?
She's Peter James is the one that coined her, actually, in the early 90s, and he felt that she drowned in the second. So there was a second-class pool. And then, as you know, there's the main pool that's still there to this day for first and third class passengers. People are like, what third class? Why didn't they have its own? How did that class not have its own pool? Well, when jet travel became more popular in the late 50s, early 60s, the rich and famous were now traveling by airplane. So they then opened up the first class pool to the third class passengers because the second already had their own pool. So that's kind of where that story goes. So, but with Jackie, I don't know. Peter may be right. He may be wrong. I don't know. But, I do think in regards to her, I think there may be 2 Jackies on board. This kind of sounds weird. Mm-hmm. But I think because just think about it, hundreds of people day in and day out wanting to experience Jackie, wanting to experience even some of the other energies on board. Are they psychokinetically like creating like a hologram of her? So you have I think of like Arnold Schwartz. I can never pronounce his last name, but I can never say it. Jesus.
Schwartz.
I think it's like a tongue twister.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Right? I mean him. That's who I mean.
Right.
So the movie Total Recall, right? And so you have the real him and then the hologram version of him. That's kind of like the analogy I use. So I think there might be 2, the real her and then one that's created. And this may be the same way for some of the other energies on board. How, maybe some of them are psychokinetically created. I don't know. But it does seem, though, that the Queen Mary has a lot of spiritual paranormal activity. And I kind of think of the ship, too, as, when you're traveling through different states and you have welcome centers, you stop there, you get your brochure, you learn about the state. I kind of feel like the Queen Mary acts as that for the spirit realm. I know that sounds weird, but it just seems like she's like a welcome center for them.
Not at all.
Some choose to leave. But it's so weird. It seems like a lot of the energies know each other too.
And this is the thing. This is the thing. And this is the stopping point, because this is amazing. This is amazing. We're getting a very, very different look. Now, picture that in your mind. The ship is alive, folks. More of that is going to be coming up. And just a little tidbit here. I had a little experience there. I was doing some... I used to speak there at the Ghost Fest every year. And I'm sitting in my room catching up on the Colts football game. Lo and behold, a bellhop-looking guy literally comes out of the wall, walks across the room and through the door. Yeah. And then I went up and talked about that. So the ship holds a lot of mysteries, and we're going to try and uncover some more of those, as well as some other hauntings and some of the books. Be sure to check out Nicole's website while you're out there. Of course, we want you to listen to the breaks, but just go to authorNicoleStrickland.com. That's authorNicoleStrickland.com. That's the website. And I'll go ahead and drop that in chat for you folks as well, or Wendy can put that in there if she doesn't mind. More Haunted Voices Radio on the way. Coming up next week, I want to remind you we've got guest Jason Snyder. We're going to be talking about some more ghosts and secret societies. The Masonic Lodge. All of this coming up. A lot of great guests. You can find the latest info, hauntedvoices.net. Just look under upcoming guests and you'll see who we got. Good stuff on the way. More Haunted Voices when we come back. Stay tuned.
In a world filled with ghostly activity, a family trying to survive the best they can. One man.
Don't you worry one bit, ma'am. We got your family covered here. Me and the little fellas are just going to take a look around the property a little bit.
12 little people.
Are you kidding me? I'm not going in there.
HVRN Paranormal Talk presents Little Hunters.
Come on, little fellas. You know I need your help with this.
You've done lost your mind.
Coming to HVRN Paranormal Talk, never.
Brought to you by Green Karma LLC, GreenKarmaWeddings.com is a bilingual wedding service that specializes in outdoor wedding ceremonies. Some of the wedding packages include the Love Boat Wedding Package, which is conveniently located at the Chicago River, where you can eat at the best restaurants and get a spectacular view of the windy city skyline. No power, no DJ, no problem. We specialize in outdoor weddings and in unique settings. So when that special time arrives for you and your new fiancé, look no further than Green Karma Wedding Services. Come visit us, greenkarmaweddings.com.
Let's face it. There's a lot of theories and ideas in the paranormal community. Your opinion matters to HVRN Paranormal Talk.
And that's why we created our Paranormal Forum. Posting is easy with our free registration, so head on over to hauntedvoices.net, click the forum link, and get started today. HVRN Paranormal Forum, where your opinion matters. Register today at hauntedvoices.net. Are you being spiritually tormented, living with fear, stress, or an unexplained darkness? Then look no further than RevRon911.com. Reverend Ron is your modern-day exorcist, your spiritual solution. RevRon 911 uses no shows, gimmicks, or bears no religion. Did I mention RevRon 911 is also discreet? Reverend Ron saves you the hassle and comes to you. You just can't beat that, don't believe me? Visit RevRon911.com and read the proven testimonials from people just like you who won the battle thanks to RevRon 911. That's RevRon911.com. RevRon 911.com. Find your peace of mind today at RevRon911.com.
21 minutes past the hour, Haunted Voices Radio Live. Todd Bates sitting here with you. I missed this show. I missed all of you folks. Yes, I did. And we still have some just trickling in. I'm getting messages left and right. My goodness, it's okay. It's going to take some time for you to get used to the show being back on. We're here every Tuesday night live, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific, and 2 a.m. in Europe. Oh, my goodness. It's been a lot of fun education here tonight with you guys in chat. Great comments. Keep them going. Put some of those in the forum. Just drop them in there. Copy and paste. That's what it's all about. We're speaking with author, researcher, and Queen Mary, and I use this word with the utmost respect, expert, Nicole Strickland is with us. We're going to be talking about some of her personal experiences here that she's had on the Queen, in addition to some of the books she's written, and how you guys can get some of those for your own, because they are amazing, amazing reads. Great reads. They're not some of those that, like me, I like books with pictures. You know, these don't have any pictures and they keep my interest. To me, that's a good author. So welcome back, Nicole.
Oh, thanks for having me. Thanks for the kind thoughts. I mean so much.
Oh, my pleasure. And, you know, we were talking about some ghostly activity there on the Queen. I got to ask you, what are some of your most memorable experiences, some of your most memorable encounters, some things you've encountered in there?
Oh, I've had so many. One I alluded to earlier with JP, seeing his full-bodied apparition, you know, float toward me, smile at me, and then fade to black. And previously to that, we were in the engine room and I was on a tour and we were really connecting with him. So I find that interesting that I saw him. One of the very first encounters, and this was back before I started heavily researching the history of the ship and her paranormal phenomena, I was staying aboard on A deck. It's a hotel on board, right? For those that don't know, you can stay either on A, B, or M decks. And I was on the port side of A deck, and I was leaving my stateroom to go walk around, if I remember. And I turned left, so I was walking toward the forward side of the ship, and something said, "Turn around, Nicole." And I turned around, and there in the center of the hallway, maybe about 20 feet, I guess, aft of me, stood a little girl, 6 years old maybe, wearing a light blue gown of some sort. She just stood in the hallway there and kind of had a smile on her face, and then she vanished. At that point, I had no idea who Jackie was, nothing. I later learned that, just based on other people's descriptions of who she is, I later learned that was most likely Jackie who I saw. That was my very first paranormal encounter on the ship. So that really holds a special place in my heart. So that's one. Let's see, God, there have been so many. I was staying another night on A deck, and lots of things were happening that night. We didn't get back into the room until about 2 a.m. I did a very quick EVP session, like a burst EVP session, and I saw this like grayish mist come through the stateroom entrance door, and I just saw something enter the room. Can you please tell me your name? And I didn't hear this live, so it wasn't, disembodied voice. It was an actual EVP, and it was a male that said Micah or Michael. And so later on that next morning, I, was awake. I heard our bathroom door open, which I had shut the night before. I sat up in bed a little bit, and I saw the bottom half of a leg in there, and it looked like a dress pants and dress shoes, something that first class people would have worn. And then I laid back down, didn't fall asleep. I just laid back down I kept my eyes open just to be as quiet as possible, excuse me. And I felt what felt like two hands go down on me, not in a threatening way, almost like in a calming way, almost like if someone was giving you a hug. And then I heard the footsteps in the room, the rustling through our bags, and I thought, well, my friend must be up as well. Let me look. And she was in the adjoining room, fast asleep. So those are some of the, top highlights. I mean, I have so many others. It's hard to just pick one, but those are the three that really stand out for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
To be touched.
Right.
Which, that's a loose term. Can they touch? I mean, we don't know. But you feel that sensation of a touch and the attachment to the ship as well. We've got somebody in chat that stated, oh, yeah, I'm having memories of a tugboat I was working on last year. I ended up getting attached to. Now, do you think that you're getting attached to the ship? For example, like I got attached to the Sally House. Do you think that that's possible too? That maybe they're bringing you back there to regain some energy, maybe take a little energy from you? Do you feel exhausted or feel different when you leave the ship?
I feel empowered and I feel at utter peace when I'm aboard and when I leave. So much so, and I realize some of my thoughts regarding the Queen Mary are way out in left field, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay, that's fine. But I always cry when I leave the ship. It's just I don't want to leave. I want to stay. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because I found that in my research when I've talked to a lot of former crew and former passengers, veterans, war brides, many of them have had the same sorts of feelings. So it's not just me. So there's just something special about that ship, and I just don't know exactly what it is. And I've been told by some people they feel I either have a past life connection with the ship. There's something there. I don't know. I think that that's a possibility, but it's weird because I would say this happens about 95% of the time when I go on board, and this usually happens within the first hour that I'm there. And this usually happens when I am in an area where there's not a lot of people. Usually I'm alone in an area, or there might be one or two other people. I will hear my name I'll hear, and this is male and female vocalizations, I'll hear, "Hi, Nicole." I've heard in my ear, in whispered form, "Nicole's here." Mm. So it's just so weird. It's like, I don't know. It's just one of those things, it seems like a lot of the intelligent energies know each other on board or know about each other. Some, I think, know me because I'm there all the time. It's so fascinating. It's so very fascinating. And it's I'm asked a lot, well, why do you think the ship is so paranormally active? And of course, her history is very rich. She sits in a body of water, some of the items used to construct the ship, yada, 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 of course. But I do think that for a lot of the people that sailed aboard, in her 31-year career, if you will, she sailed from 36 to 1967. I think for many of those people, they fell in love with the Queen Mary like I have, and they may choose to come back in spirit form. I know I will, hopefully. So maybe that's a little bit of what's going on too. It's hard to know. See,
that's amazing. You get a feeling of peace and joy to the point where you're in tears after you leave.
Yes.
Unlike what I had at the Sally House, I felt like somebody pulled a bowling ball out of my backside. That's how I felt whenever I left. It was horrible. You know, it was like an insatiable hunger that, you know, an empty void. No matter what you put in there, you can't fill it. You can't please it. You can't make it happy. This is a different relationship.
Yeah, it's like the exact opposite.
This is what every researcher is looking for, is this kind of attachment to a vessel like that has spirits that are not only active and participate, but that actually they know you, they care about you, and it proves so many things in this field too, because it proves that maybe they do have feelings, you know, they do feel, they do, you know, get hurt, they do become happy or sad or what have you. Amazing stuff. And it's like a magnet. And if I was in your shoes and I went to an area like that, or a place like that, or with a personal attachment, I would constantly want to go there, and I would be sad that I had to leave too. So kudos to you for keeping up with it all these years and writing about it, teaching others about it. You do some great speaking engagements as well. So many things that you do, Nicole. You're a very busy and amazing woman. Very busy.
Oh, likewise. Thank you so much. That means so much. And it's just, I don't know. It's like with the Queen Mary, and it's like, you know, you even said expert. You know what I call myself? I call myself a student of the Queen Mary. You know, I feel like ship is really the expert. No one knows the ship like the ship itself, but I have spent many hours on there, and I kind of feel like I do have somewhat of a grasp on what could be going on, but still there's just so much to know. There's so much to know about the Queen Mary. And I've always said, if you really want to seek answers to the paranormal field, go to the Queen Mary. I think that if any historical location is going to have the key to unlocking some of those answers, it will be the Queen Mary. Absolutely, without doubt.
You know, I'm going to agree with you there too. You know, I've of course I haven't been there as much as you have, and I know a lot of people are wanting to go. I'm wanting to go back out there, but there's something about that ship that you leave feeling fulfilled, educated, and it remotivates you to,
it does. Yes.
You know, find the same thing in other places. And I think every researcher, no matter if it's UFOs or whatever you're doing out there, it doesn't matter. You need to visit the ship, spend the night. They turned it into a hotel, but it really, you can't even tell it's a hotel, Nicole. That's the beauty of it.
I know. It's
you can't even tell.
I know.
You know, it's just an amazing place. And Nicole and I mean, we've been to some places that the public doesn't have access to any longer, and some of them are quite dangerous to get down there, but it's the history. And I'm talking about, you know, World War II here, Nicole. We're going to take a little step back in time.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And what they did to some of the people down there in the cargo hold. What happened?
Oh, my God. You know, some of the history is very tragic. So as we know, the ship was requisitioned as a troop ship for World War II, mainly because of her size and her speed, along with her sister ship, the RMS Queen Elizabeth. So when POWs were brought on board, right, German and Italian mainly, they didn't know where to put them. So they housed them down in the forward cargo hold pit, which is below water, standing room only, right? They were fed water and bread, that's it. Many died from heat stroke, heat exhaustion, because the ship was designed for the North Atlantic route, lacked air conditioning, and they would, during the war, travel to very humid climates. And their bodies, once they passed away, were thrown unceremoniously overboard. And that's how it went for many of the POWs. So it's very sad. But along with that tragedy and with the sadness, and even with one of the other main tragic points during the ship's war years was her escort, her World I British escort ship, the HMS Curacao. Miscalculation on the part of mainly the Curaçao's captain, but the Queen Mary a little bit too, as it was found out, right? So the Curacao during the war, just like the Queen Mary would sail in a zigzag 8 pattern to try to avoid German U-boats. So with that calculation, the ship ran into the Curacao, sliced it in half. Over 300 of its sailors perished, either by drowning, burning, or being dismembered by the Queen Mary's propellers due to the suction. Very sad. So, but with that tragedy, you have to look at the positive too. And the Queen Mary helped lessen the duration of World War II by about, I think it was about a year, saving the lives of many people, bridging the old world with the new, uniting people that were destined to meet. So she did all this humanitarian work. And we owe it to her. It's just so many people. It's mind-boggling how so many people go on board and they're clueless as to the legendary history of that vessel. They just think of it like a venue. I'll see people flicking out cigarettes on deck. And it's like, really, do you not know what this ship has accomplished? It's mind-boggling. But,
Well, we know what karma's going to do to those people. That's the beauty of it.
There was one time I picked up a cigarette because it was going to potentially cause a fire. And I looked up and there was this guy there and I was like, excuse me, don't do that. And he's like, well, do you work here? I said, no, but just do you not realize what this ship means? Wow. And what, historical significance the ship holds? And he was drunk and he was like, oh, but I couldn't just let a lit cigarette stay on deck like that. I had to pick it up and put it out. And don't even get me started. My God, don't even get me started. So.
Good for you. Good for you.
Gross, you. But I did it.
Now, we're going to take our final break here, folks. This is it. No more breaks. We're going to take our final break. We come back. We're going to talk, of course, with Nicole some more about her books, about some things she has going on, some more haunted locations she's been to or going to, what's going on in the world of Nicole Strickland. All that's coming up. Plus, don't forget, coming up February the 18th, we're going to be having special guest Deborah and Tony Pickman of the Sally House. We just mentioned that earlier. They're going to be on here for a 2-hour special. It's an exclusive interview. They no longer do interviews any longer, but they wanted to come back on the show. I think that's amazing, and I can't wait to talk to them and catch up a little bit. So more Haunted Voices when we come back. Check out the chat room, hauntedvoices.net. We'll be right back.
Is dead, but it doesn't mean that's just a voice in the back of your head. There's something clogging up your noggin, your heart just starts to racing, and now your mind just gets to pacing. You don't know what you're facing, so what you need to do is listen to the voice in your ear.
You're listening to HVRN Paranormal Talk. We hear what you fear. In 2012, Keith Linder, after successfully obtaining a management position at a prestige healthcare company, decides the time is right for him and his girlfriend to move in together. That's putting things lightly. Weird things begin to happen within days of moving into the modern suburban home. The horrors they witnessed and desperately tried to fight off would end up putting them at the odds with members of the paranormal community and themselves. This gripping story, told from the house occupant's point of view, not only lists tales, but also includes pictures, video reenactments, commentary, and audio of the events being reported. Author Keith Linder does not ask you to believe him. He only asks you to listen. The Bothell Hell House by Keith Linder, now available on Amazon. The book, The Bothell Hell House. The author, Keith Linder. Order yours today on Amazon.
Are you being spiritually tormented, living with fear, stress, or an unexplained darkness? Then look no further than RevRon911.com. Reverend Ron is your modern-day exorcist, your spiritual solution. RevRon 911 uses no shows, gimmicks, or bears no religion. Did I mention RevRon 911 is also discreet? Reverend Ron saves you the hassle and comes to you. You just can't beat that, don't believe me? Visit RevRon911.com and read the proven testimonials from people just like you who won the battle thanks to RevRon 911. That's RevRon911.com. RevRon 911.com. Find your peace of mind today at RevRon911.com. greenkarmaweddings.com and greenkarmastore.com. The perfect package for that perfect day. Get your Green Karma. Psst. You. Yeah, you. Listening alone on your phone or computer. Come on over to hauntedvoices.net and join the conversation in our new live chat room. It is easier than ever to chat with like-minded people, so what are you waiting for? hauntedvoices.net. Okay, as you were.
Minutes past the hour, Haunted Voices Radio Live. Boy, you have to love the backstage green room banner. Some of the things that we talk about with the guests. Yeah, maybe one of these will have, we'll just leave that in the recording. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. Welcome back to Haunted Voices Radio, though. And those of you guys just trickling in and you missed the first part of the show, the second part of the show, pretty much all the show, don't worry. Everything's going to be archived. We'll have it up here about 30, 45 minutes after this live broadcast. We'll shoot it up there to Apple Podcasts, Google Play, the Spreaker thing, and all these other Deezers and Dozers and Pods this and all over the place. Check them out. Just click on the subscribe in the menu there at hauntedvoices.net. That'll tell you exactly where each one are. It's all linked. You just click it, tap it with your phone, boom, subscribe. There you go. You'll never miss another show. And, of course, we're talking with the lovely, talented Nicole Strickland. And what else? We're going to be talking about the Queen Mary. Now, we only have just, the time is just flying by so quickly here. So we only have a little bit of time left. So we're going to get some of her information out here about her books, as well as some other places she likes to investigate, do some research, and some of the speaking engagements she does. So, Nicole, aside from the beautiful Queen Mary, what are some other places that you regularly investigate or research?
Yeah, of course. One of them is local to San Diego. Well, Vista, it's about 25 minutes north of San Diego. It's the Rancho Buena Vista adobe, so a very iconic land rancho from that sprouted up in 1850, and the city of Vista maintains it. And so my dear friend and San Diego Paranormal Research Society co-director, and co-host of the tours that we do there, Allie Schreiber, her and I have done many investigations there. And then, like I said, the tours. So we have Spirits of the Adobe tours every month, which are fundraising tours that go toward the Adobe. And they're great. It's like a historical paranormal tour of the location. So we run it like a paranormal investigation. And so that's a lot of fun. So we do that once a month. And so I would say second to the Queen Mary, that's probably the second location that I spend a lot of my time at. So Queen Mary and Adobe. We've done many library cases. We recently just did a library case study down in Chula Vista, so we're still reviewing, all our data from that. And so not too many private residence cases lately. I've declined a few of them for various reasons, but it's mostly just right now the Adobe. And then I've done some research work at Preston Castle, which is up in Ione, California, northeast of Stockton, Sacramento area, another very beautiful historic location. And they have paranormal conferences there as well, and so I've presented at a couple of them. So that's a really great location, too, to investigate. But just lately, I've been staying more local to San Diego, concentrating on the Adobe, our library cases, that sort of thing. I do give a lot of presentations at believe it or not, at a local brewery up in Vista about the paranormal. So I've been doing that. And so that's basically been it, and just been, concentrating on writing and that sort of thing. So
good. You're keeping busy. That's what's important.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm trying to. Absolutely.
Now, some of your books, of course, everyone knows about the Haunted Queen of the Seas. Now,
yes,
I've been out of the field a little while, Nicole. What are some new things you've had, and what do you have in the works?
Well, I have 3 books on the Queen Mary. So I have the Haunted Queen of the Seas, and then I have its sister book, which has been out for, I think, 2017 is when I published it, Spirited Queen Mary, her haunted legend, I delve more into the ship's paranormal phenomena, her resident spirits, her resident energies, many of my encounters on board. And then, of course, in, I think it was 2019 when this came out, or 2018, if you will, RMS Queen Mary, Voices from Her Voyages. That was a fun one to write because it took about 2 years, and I interviewed a lot of former crew, former passengers, veterans, and war brides who all sailed on the Queen Mary. So they share their stories, their sailing stories, and their memories in the book. And so that's a lot of fun. So that's out. Those 3 are out, sold aboard in the gift shop, sold on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, that sort of thing. And then I have a book, Allie contributed to it quite a bit on the Rancho Buena Vista Adobe, which is Spirits of Rancho Buena Vista Adobe. And then I have a book called San Diego's Most Haunted, which kind of delves into the history and hauntings of many of San Diego's locations. And let's see, right now, I think I mentioned this earlier in the show, I'm working on a book where I've interviewed a lot of people about some of their profound encounters with the spirit realm. And so I'm writing a book about that, and that's a lot of fun. So right now I have 2 publishers interested in it. So I've never been in that position before. It's kind of like driving me bonkers. And then there have been so many of these done. I realize this, but I'm going to kind of do this with my own twist. I'm writing a book on, I guess, kind of not like a ghost hunter. I hate the term ghost hunter, but not like a ghost hunter's guidebook. But it's more or less on ghost research mainly, and it delves into everything from getting into the field and prerequisite knowledge to what's needed for a successful case study, what goes into a case report, all of that, all of the above. So I'm kind of doing that sort of book with kind of my own special twist. So that's kind of the latest projects.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's a lot of good stuff. I mean, you mentioned published in 2017. I don't remember much of 2017 or 18. A little bit of 19. Here I am now, 2020. So it's good.
Yeah.
You brought me up to speed on a lot of things tonight. You really did.
I tried.
So many things that we discussed, and I'm trying new things with the show as well, with this station. Awesome. There's so much new technology, and I'm glad that we talked about how the paranormal community is breaking up. They are segregating themselves. We need to revisit, reevaluate, and get out there and just do some legwork, folks. I mean, I can't stress that enough. But there's just been so many things, Nicole, that we touched on that I'm going to go back and listen to the show so I can learn some more, because it's a lot of it's...
I should do that too. I know, because I mean, you made a lot of very good points. It's like, and that's what it's all about. We each bring something to the table.
There's a lot to digest. There really is.
Yep.
All right, now, but before this show ends, my goodness, it went by so fast. Give the folks your contact info, your website, how they can get in touch with you.
Sure. So I have 3 sites. So my first one is my team site, which is San Diego ParanormalResearch.com. And then my author site is author.NicoleStrickland.com. And then I have a little website. It's like a blog website for the Queen Mary, and that's the title of my second book. It's spiritedqueenmary.com. So those are the 3 sites. And then, of course, I'm on Facebook. My regular Facebook. I have an author, Nicole Strickland, Facebook. I have the SDPRS is on Facebook. I'm on Instagram at author Nicole Strickland. Twitter, which I don't use that much. I should use more, but I don't, is at sdprs.nicole. So those are some of the ways to get a hold of me. I'm always on social media. I feel like I don't use it enough to my advantage, though. I'm one of these that I get on Facebook, and after about 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, okay. I wish I could be a little bit more productive with that, but maybe one day.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I just tweeted.
Oh, yay. See, I need to get back in the Twitter game. I haven't tweeted in a while.
I haven't hit send yet, but I tweeted.
You're ahead of me on that one.
It's, you know, that's the beauty. Social media, there's so many things out there these days. There's so many things that we could use, Nicole, and folks you listening, to our advantage to work together for a change. I mean, it's been long enough, okay? Everybody's split up, went and played in their own sandboxes. It's time to get back to our own sandbox, our own playground, do our thing, get out there, do some research, make some discoveries, form some new theories. It's a need. It really is.
It is.
It's not a want at this point. It's a need. It's so saturated. It's time to grab that wet towel and wring it out. Let that stuff go down the drain and then start with a good fresh towel. That's what we need, you know.
That's right.
You brought that change to light too, Nicole. Great job tonight. It's always awesome having you on the show. It really is.
Oh, thank you. I always love being on your show. Oh my God, I don't know how many times I've been on your show, quite a bit, and I swear it's like every time I go on, it's just such a great time. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. Hang tight 1 second, and folks, you guys, don't worry. Everything's going to be uploaded here in the next few minutes. I'll be working on that diligently. Ooh, word of the day. And I'll be getting that up here for you to the different platform mediums and all that good stuff. And I'll be sure and post that to Facebook as well, and Twitter and all that, all the good stuff. If you do want to follow us on the social media accounts, it's real simple. Go to hauntedvoices.net. You're going to see there on the left-hand side all of our active social mediums that you can go to. The little platforms there, just hover, click it, go there. Give us a like on the fan page. I know a lot of people, fan page, what the hell's that? Well, it's a fan page. It's fun times. Go there. You know, I put some news up there. We put all kinds of good stuff. Also, coming up next week, again, we've got Jason Snyder with the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunters Society. We're going to be talking about some ghosts and secret societies. The Masons. All of these different societies. The Illuminati, you name it. We're going to be talking about it next week. And that's going to be followed by Deborah and Tony Pickman on the 18th, Sally House. And, of course, saving him for last for a reason. Of course, we're going to be having Keith Linder back on the show. We're going to be talking about the Bothell Hell House and his new book that's coming out as well, and the terrifying haunting that he went through there in Seattle, Washington. Good stuff. You can find the latest guests coming up right there at hauntedvoices.net. And let me know if you guys have any more bugs. I know you guys are having some registration issues. Let me know if you have one of those, and shoot me a quick email, and I'll go ahead and get you registered manually until I can get that bug fixed. It's not a problem at all. It takes me 2 seconds, but I need to know that you can't access that forum. And when I go into that forum later tonight, I want to see some introductions in there, folks. That's your assignment for the end of the evening before you go to bed. Get in there and introduce yourself. And from all of us here at Haunted Voices Radio and HVRN Paranormal Talk, thank you very much for attending this debut show of Haunted Voices Radio. Glad to be back. Thank you very much for the support. And again, thank our guest, Nicole Strickland, author Nicole Strickland, for coming on the show as well and showing us a great time and making us screw up and learn something. Have a great night, folks.
You're listening to HVRN Paranormal Talk. We hear what you fear.